And finally tonight, we have a special edition of Friday Night at the Movies. I spoke with a Rise News contributor and editor-in-chief of ShowbizCafe.com, Jack Rico, about the big holiday releases coming out this Christmas. Jack, so good to see you. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, thank you. Of course, Christmas is always a big movie released weekend.
Huge, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about what's coming out over these next few days, and a big one that's been highly anticipated and I think hopefully critically acclaimed,
Yes.
Selma.
Yes, definitely. This is probably one of the best movies of the year, at least top 10. If I'm expecting January 15th for the Oscar nominations for Best Picture category, Selma is going to be in it. This is directed by Ava DuVernay, and it kind of takes the Lincoln sort of route that Steven Spielberg did, where it's not a lifetime highlight of Martin Luther King Jr., but more a specific time chronologically in his life where he clashes a lot with President Lyndon B. Johnson, where he's trying to get through the Voting Rights Act right after the Civil Rights Act. So that's what we're watching.
All right, let's take a look at a little bit of Selma.
Those that have gone before us say, no more, no more. That means protest, that means march, that means disturb the peace, that means jail, that means risk, and that is hard. We will not wait any longer. Give us the vote.
You know, you talked about this is such a great movie. I want to ask you about the lead actor here, David, and he had to help me with how to say it. Oyelowo. It's probably a daunting challenge to take on such an icon like Martin Luther King.
He gained weight for this film, and he really wanted to do this. The movie about Martin Luther King Jr. has been going around for quite some time. Spike Lee was attached to direct at some point, but David really wanted to make this, and he gives one of the best career-defining performances probably of the year, and for him specifically. And, you know, this is not necessarily a movie about Martin Luther King Jr. It's about a movement. And in this, Ava DuVernay, the female African-American director, she decides to really look and explore deeply at the nuances of the debates that led to the Selma March. And so when you see that, you almost feel like there was a camera and you're just a part of a moment in time that it was brought back. Now, this is also very contemporary with Ferguson, with the New York officers being shot and everything, and Garner. It really takes a whole life of its own. So when you walk in there, there's moments you have chills all over your body, feeling like this is something that's almost directly attached to what's happening today.
Oh, cannot wait to see this. Been waiting for a while to see this, too. Okay, let's move on to the next one, Unbroken.
Yes, the life of Louis Samperini. Many are saying that he is, you know, probably one of our greatest heroes, and Angelina Jolie decided to do a movie about him. He passed away recently at the age of 97, but this was a labor of love. According to her, this took 60 years to make. It's been going around forever, and Samperini himself has been pitching this story for quite some time. Lauren Hillenbrand, who did Seabiscuit, decided to also make this. And it's a story about survival, about Samperini living all these obstacles and overcoming them. That's part of what Unbroken is really all about.
All right, let's look at a bit of Unbroken.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
So you think there's some kind of grand plan? Why do we live when the others didn't? I got good news and bad news.
You are enemies of Japan. You will be treated accordingly.
Welcome, sort of.
We have an Olympic athlete in all count. Look at me. You're nothing. This man must be taught respect.
Oh my goodness.
You know, mostly I agree with critics, with my fellow peers on a lot of movies, but in this one, a lot of them are calling this film very coldly clinical and very conventional, meaning that it's emotionally distant, that there's not much of that gut punch that these prestige films have. I disagree completely. I think this is a movie that is completely inspirational. It almost has religious tones of Jesus Christ, of him surviving 47 days at sea, sort of the 40 days and 40 nights that he goes through, and that big sort of scene where he lifts up that wood. It almost looks like the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And she decided once again here to kind of take that slice, those 3 moments in his life, those big 3 highlights, that really is about overcoming obstacles. And when you see this film with the cinematography of Roger Deakins, which kind of makes everything so beautiful, You really have to say this is one of the more special films out there, and I just don't know how the Golden Globes completely snubbed it completely from its lists, and hopefully the Oscars will do some redeeming here, but everything from Jack O'Connell, the breakthrough performance, Jolie really making some special moments here. I think this is going to probably be the movie of the week for Christmas going into the box office.
And I'm ready to cry already just from that trailer, so
Absolutely.
I know it's going to be very emotional.
Powerful, yeah.
Okay, let's rush on to the last one in our last minute or so, A Most Violent Year.
A Most Violent Year, J.C. Chandor, who did a movie called All Is Lost. He's really a director that loves to sort of focus in on the human drama of people. A Most Violent Year almost feels a little bit like The Godfather, and Al Pacino's character, where he's a businessman, but in this particular case, our lead actor, Oscar Isaac, who plays a Latino immigrant, he's in the middle of American business and the dog-eat-dog world and what that is.
Okay, let's take a look at A Most Violent Year.
Where did you get that?
Your youngest daughter found it in the bushes outside her front door. It's not a brick through a car window. This is your kid playing with a loaded gun. Katie!
The DA's coming down with a 14-count indictment. We've just pushed it a little too far, that's all.
Can't have this situation continuing.
If one of these guys shoots someone, it will be the end of everything that we have worked for.
You now have serious legal cases against you, ranging from fraud to tax evasion.
It wasn't your good luck helping you out all these years. It was me.
I don't want anything to do with this!
The 10-year-old's birthday.
A man trying not to become a gangster has to fight all those things, but it's also an immigrant story. It's a great crime thriller, and I think people who see it are really going to enjoy this film coming this week.
Typical of a Christmas release, these heavyweights coming out.
Heavyweights, very dramatic, very powerful.
See all three of these. Jack, Rico, thank you so much.
You got it.
Merry
Excellent.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
That's going to do it for this edition of Arise America. We'll have a very special holiday edition of Arise America on tomorrow on Christmas Day. Thank you so much for being here with us. Merry Christmas.